I want one. So I've made a Taylor Swift Lover and 1989 cake, but then I thought, oh my god, I have to make the iconic blank space cake, but I want to make sure I get that satisfying explosion at the end. So first I'm cutting out a hole in the cake and filling this balloon with cherry juice to go in the middle. Then I need to cover it up and put the finishing touches on the cake with some piping and... Wait, this is my favorite shirt. I bought the Band Easy Bake Oven. Apparently in 2006, this trapped kids' fingers and caused third-degree burns. But I guess I'm taking my chances because I want to surprise my bestie Lacey with a cake that I'm making in this Easy Bake Oven. But she thinks it's coming from a bakery. It's no wonder this thing gave kids third-degree burns. It's giving my cake third-degree burns. Now I know why my parents never bought this for me. So Lacey's favorite color is purple, and she's so hilarious and caring, so I'm making her a mini personality cake. But it just needs one last touch to make it all come together. I just hope she's not suspicious.
I actually made that in an Easy Bake Oven.
I'll just leave now with this cake.
What do I do with my leftover icing when I'm redecorating my makeover cake Phoebe? Well, I save what I can, but my husband doesn't like that it's taking over our freezer. So I'm decorating a cake using all my leftover icing and every single piping tip I own, then surprising him to get his reaction. I own a total of 75 different piping tips, some of which I've never even used. This one's supposed to be a flower. Kind of pretty. And we have about 25 different colors to work with. This is gonna be the most colorful cake I think I've ever made. So I have no idea what this cake is going to look like. I'm imagining it being a colorful, chaotic Franken-cake situation. My favorite piping tips are the ones where they just look so satisfying. This looks like worms. That's so pretty. To give some organization to the chaos, my strategy is to break the piping and the colors up into quarters so that every tip gets used. This is a Russian piping tip. Fancy. And gives the cake different personalities. It's looking chaotic and I'm loving it. Even with the chaos, I ended up with some pretty solid themes that could have even been separate cakes themselves. Fairy Garden, Barbie, Spider-Man, Enchanted Forest. And went to surprise my husband and... Isn't it so good? Yeah, babe, it's amazing.
Colorful. Tastes good.
This is the last time you'll see my makeover cake Phoebe in this kitchen because we're moving. But that means I have to transport a cake 1,200 miles across the country without ruining. So after giving Phoebe a protective layer of icing, I placed her in this cooler with some dry ice for the long trip. Then it was time to hit the road for our 20-hour drive. She's buried in here somewhere. But I'm concerned because as we're driving, it's getting warmer and warmer. So the blazing sun beating down is not ideal. Oh, but I kind of like this lighting. I mean coffee. This cooler is like hot now and it's stressing me out. Emotional support water bottle is always necessary for a road trip. And after many scenic stops with some interesting encounters, we made it to Texas! And of course we had to stop at Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's! They have grocery carts here? Oh my gosh, they're even playing Taylor Swift. There's so much stuff, but I have to stop wandering because we need to get back on the road. So after one last push to our destination, we finally made it. But it's time to see if Phoebe made it. Still hard as a rock. Safe and sound. Did you know that Barbie made an Easy Bake Oven? This thing was made in 2000. There's no way it's gonna work. I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm sorry, but these Easy Bake Ovens are known for making some gross food. So I'm gonna see if my husband can tell that this Barbie cake we're making was made in this Easy Bake Oven. Smells kind of weird. I was so shocked because it's actually baking the cakes really well, but they literally take forever to bake. But it also acts as a hand warmer, so that's cool. So finally it was time to assemble all the cakes. Hi, Barbie! Then stick Barbie in the top. We'll just cover that up. Then carve the cake into the shape of a dress. Obviously, I had to give Barbie a pink outfit and decorate her dress with even more pink. I think it looks pretty good. But what will my husband think? If this works, comment what I should try next. He ate the whole thing. Every time I redecorate my makeover cake Phoebe, I love to see if you can guess her theme before the end. This fashion icon was born in 1959, and she attended high school in a fictional town called Willows, Wisconsin. There's a ton of movies and shows made about her, but her popularity is so high that she's caused an international shortage of pink. She's even had over 250 careers. She really can be anything.
Oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Slay! Let me know if you guessed it. Every time I redecorate my makeover cake Phoebe, I love to see what the leftover icing underneath looks like. This is kind of giving me Taylor Swift Lover vibes. But for this cake over, I thought it would be so fun for you to guess what the theme is before the end. I got a lot of requests to make Phoebe into this design. It's an iconic, nostalgic movie from the 2000s. It takes place at North Shore High School. It was written by Tina Fey, and there's so many iconic lines.
You're like really pretty. On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Let me know if you guessed it. When I was a kid, it wasn't cool to be a Swiftie. Let me explain. In 2008, I saw Taylor Swift for the first time at the CMA Fest when she sang, "Just another picture to burn." And that was when I became a Swiftie. But apparently, all the cool kids at my school didn't like her. They said, she only sings about boys, and she can't even sing well. Meanwhile, I'm having solo dance parties in my room listening to love stories. 16 years later, and now a lot of those cool kids are Swifties. And I have just one thing to say to them. Welcome! It's time to retire my makeover cake Phoebe. So at the end of this video, I'm cutting into her to see what a year-old cake actually looks like. And tastes like? But before that, she needs one more makeover. This iconic movie is one that brings back all the nostalgic vibes. It's a classic holiday film inspired by the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, where one of Santa's helpers took a little journey to the big city to bring out the true spirit of Christmas and help save the day.
I know him.
Well, after 14 different makeovers and a whole lot of fun, I think we all know what time it is.
Here goes nothing. I don't see any moles.
So there's one thing left to do. Just kidding. Say hi to Phoebe too. I always thought it would be fun to make my own wedding cake, but instead I chickened out and spent $1,000 on this one. So I wanted to see if I could actually do it and how much money I could have saved. But then I ran into a huge problem. I had never actually made a tiered cake before. What do? Do you just like drop it on the other cake? I honestly gained a whole new respect for bakers doing this, and now I understand why cakes are so expensive. Anyways, this is how it turned out. What do you guys think? This is a Barbie Bake With Me oven, and I was thinking, if Barbie had a birthday cake, it would have to be made in this. And I recently found out that Disney World had a Barbie birthday party in 1994, and they had a Barbie birthday cake. So I'm gonna see if I can make a mini version in my Barbie Bake With Me oven. I never actually had any type of easy bake oven as a kid, so I'm still pretty new at this baking with the toy thing, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. 6-year-old me would be proud. When I went to stack the tiny cake tiers, I realized something was very wrong. The cake is crooked. I've always thought mini cakes were so cute, but decorating something this tiny is not easy. I think it's looking pretty cute, I mean minus the crookedness, but all that really matters is Barbie loved it. Bring back Stitch on my makeover cake Phoebe? But that means I have to destroy the folklore cake.
Ow. Okay.
To everyone who thinks I'm reversing these videos when I suck up all the icing, I have no idea what you're talking about. But after de-icing the entire folklore cake, I have to travel on the Hawaiian roller coaster ride all the way from Texas to Ohio, where I made the Stitch cake. So then I'll just slide the icing back on the cake and
I like Stitch.
So the other day, I made this unicorn cake just for fun, but I couldn't bring myself to just throw it away. So I saved it in my freezer. But after it was sitting there for a while, it hit me. Why don't I just redecorate it for practice? So let me introduce you to Phoebe. Each month, we'll transform her into something new. Phoebe's first makeover is one of these gorgeous vintage cakes that are all over the internet. But like, my question is, should I eat Phoebe at the end of the year? Remake my first cake design?
I can do that.
But not only that, I'm surprising a subscriber with this cake. Because when I made my first cake decorating video with Phoebe, I had no idea it would turn into all this fun we've had together. But the only reason I'm able to keep doing all of this is because all of you. This type of cake is one of my favorites because I love all the piping. But after putting some finishing touches on the cake, I just hope she likes it.
Why am I getting nervous?
Just answer the door.
By the way, this cake is not Phoebe.
I made you a cake. It's kind of heavy.
I got it.
But what is she gonna think of the cake?
It's so fat.
Redecorating my 5-month-old makeover cake Phoebe that I keep in my freezer. And if you didn't know, this cake is actually Phoebe number 2. Phoebe number 1's life tragically ended at the end of 2023. She was with us for a full year, so she had a good life. But when I cut into Phoebe number 1 and spilled her guts, there was no mold. I know, I was shocked as well. So should we see if Phoebe number 2 can outlast Phoebe number 1? I don't know, maybe...
It's a bad idea, right? Yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't you...
Wait. You didn't think I was actually gonna stab her, did you? When I was a kid, I convinced my sister to take me to a Taylor Swift concert instead of my mom. Let me explain. In 2013, my sister got tickets for her birthday to see Taylor Swift's Red Tour, and I was desperate to see her in concert. But my sister knew that, so she told me, it's my birthday gift, not yours, I'm taking mom. So you could say I was down bad, crying at the gym. My sister is stubborn, so I needed a rock-solid plan. I told her,
I'm way cooler than mom, and I'll pay for your dinner.
Fast forward 10 years later, and the Eras Tour brought back so many memories of the Red Tour together, and my mom still loves me. Bring back the Harry Potter design on my makeover cake Phoebe? That's gonna come with a sacrifice.
Do you want to stop Snape from getting that stone or not?
So first we need to use a time turner to go all the way back to when Phoebe was Cinderella. Then I need to use a summoning charm to suck up all of the icing on the Cinderella cake. And undecorating this is making me kind of sad. But all of us were heartbroken when I had to destroy the Harry Potter design.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Then all I had to do was slide the Harry Potter icing back onto the cake and...
You're a wizard, Harry.
I bought the original Easy Bake Oven. This thing is from 1963, so there's no way it's gonna work, right? It actually works! And Sleeping Beauty also came out in this era, so I have to try and make a mini version of Aurora's iconic 16th birthday cake, because it's always been a dream of mine. But will this 61-year-old Easy Bake Oven actually bake a cake?
I think we're down one light bulb. Man, I need to make some of these recipes. I need to know what crazy cake is. It says wear an apron to keep my clothes clean.
Have Mother turn on the oven.
I am your mother.
One light bulb or not, I'm determined to make this Sleeping Beauty cake.
This is a built-in cooling rack. You can actually watch it bake. Why do none of the new models not have this feature?
Like when I bought the Band Easy Bake Oven, I couldn't see inside, so my cake's burned.
This cake is basically from 1963. It's kind of thin though.
So I'm working with what I can get, but making a cake that looks crooked and doesn't actually fall is not easy. So I have to be careful while adding all the piping, but it's starting to come together. Then I need to make the broom out of fondant to support the cups. Justin, you're dreaming, you're dreaming. Wake up.
Once upon a dream.
Bring back the Barbie design on my makeover cake Phoebe? But that means I have to destroy the Harry Potter cake again.
No, you can't. There must be another way.
I love Harry Potter and Barbie, so this isn't easy for me to do. But I'm still able to use a summoning charm to suck up all of the icing from the Harry Potter cake. Then with a little help from some Barbie magic,
So cool.
all I need to do is add the Barbie icing back onto the cake to create
My own pink world.
Hi, Barbie.
Every time I redecorate my makeover cake Phoebe, I love to see if you can guess the theme before the end. And this cakeover is one that I've been excited about for a long time. It's a timeless movie about a gentle and kind girl who could never be ordered to stop dreaming, and always knew in her heart that her wonderful dreams would come true. But to find her Prince Charming, she needed some magic and a size 4.5 glass shoe.
Salagadoola, metricaboola, bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Every time I redecorate my makeover cake Phoebe, I love to see if you can guess what the theme is before the end. This is another iconic movie from the 2000s. The sequel to this fairy tale was more popular than the original, and it even made more money than Harry Potter. It takes place in a land far, far away, and it has a lot of layers, kind of like an onion or a cake.
Cake! Everybody loves cakes. Ogres are not like cakes.
Let me know if you guessed it. I think my makeover cake Phoebe is ready for a new look. But can you guess the theme of this cakeover before the end? This is literally one of my most requested cakes I've gotten so far. And I actually love it because it's the combination of savage and girly. It's one of the most popular shows of the year. It's a story about friends overcoming evil together. It takes place at Nevermore Academy. But I'm not gonna lie, it is a little spooky.
Looks like a rainbow vomited on your side.
OMG. I love the look.
Let me know if you guessed it. It's me, back with my makeover cake, Phoebe. If you're new, I keep this cake in my freezer and redecorate her for practice. You guys showed Phoebe so much love in my last video when I introduced her, and that was so kind of you. So I asked you all if I should eat Phoebe at the end of the year, and the comments were totally split. But I guess we'll see how brave I am at the end of this year. I don't think I've ever met a Phoebe in real life, but oh my gosh, I was so happy to see so many people named Phoebe in the comments. I just think it's such a fun name. Anyways, how should I decorate Phoebe next? Every time I redecorate my makeover cake Phoebe, I love to see if you can guess her theme before the end. This iconic book and movie series was first released in 1997. It takes place in a fictional school of magic that's over 1,000 years old. This series stars the legendary boy who lives, and he finds himself in some scary situations with his two best friends. He's a humble and courageous leader who fights evil with magic. But most of all,
You're a wizard, Harry.
Gryffindor!
let me know if you guessed it. 3 levels of undecorating cakes. Level 1, the flamethrower. It pains me to do this, but if you're wondering why I'm destroying this cake, I have 3 cakes I keep in my freezer to decorate over and over. One of them is Phoebe, that some of you probably know, but the other 2 are new and don't have names yet. This got a little messier than I thought. Level 2, the scraping method. This method is super satisfying to me and typically works out very well. Level 3, the Texas heat. It's 97 degrees, so after 20 minutes, I was confused why there was no milk. The top comment of this video is what I'll name one of my extra cakes. Let's recreate my makeover cake Phoebe's Mean Girls era husband edition. He's never decorated a cake before, so this should be fun. He's got the scraper out, that's a start. Oh, he's getting frustrated the cake is sliding. We'll give him some help. Smoothing the cake is one of the hardest parts for me. It looks like it is for him too. Now he's moving on to the drip. That's actually looking pretty good. I thought it was gonna go way worse. He's got the hot pink border on. Oh boy. Wow, he's actually using different piping tips and shades of pink that I made for him. He is really adding a lot of piping to the top. You can stop now. He remembered the sprinkles.
Glen Coco? You go, Glen Coco.
We love Mean Girls. How I surprised my sister with her dream wedding cake. I've never actually made a real wedding cake, like for an actual wedding, but I wanted to see if I could pull it off. She wants it to give Harry Potter romantic whimsical vibes. And she told me she wants it to look like a unicorn could take a nap on it in the woods.
I want them to think that
that it's weird.
My first problem, transporting the cakes. It's the middle of summer and like 95 degrees. I'm not freaking out at all. And now, I only have 30 minutes to stack this cake before the rehearsal dinner.
I gotta go change.
So on the big day, we got to decorating the display table and the cake. I even added these cute little gnomes I thought she would love. Finally, all the hard work came together to surprise my sister on her big day. And as she laid eyes on the cake, it all became worth it. She loved it. This is the Band Easy Bake Oven. And besides being slightly dangerous, it's known for making some pretty tiny food. So I want to try and make the tallest cake ever made in an Easy Bake Oven. I'm so curious to see how high we can actually get this before it falls. But the problem is, there's no telling how long this is gonna take.
I hope it doesn't overheat.
Because if you didn't know, Easy Bake Ovens take forever to bake.
This has been on for 3 hours now. We're putting the Easy Bake Oven to its limits.
So instead of just stacking up the cake layers one by one, my plan is to stack a few layers of the cakes and frost those as one mini cake.
I'm so scared to put this stick in, because if it's not centered, then my whole cake is crooked.
Then stack those on top of each other to make our giant Easy Bake Oven cake.
This cake is so much wider. This is just gonna be a hodgepodge mess. I can already see it coming.
And we're just gonna stack it as high as it'll go.
I'm getting kind of nervous about it falling at this point.
I'm honestly not sure what I was expecting, but this thing is getting overwhelmingly tall and a little unstable.
I have one more layer that I want to get on. The last one.
At least it tastes good. Every time I redecorate my makeover cake Phoebe, I love to see if you can guess her theme before the end. So I'm giving you 4 hints before the big reveal. I can only explain this creative masterpiece in 2 words: world domination. Looking at it now, this is a huge turning point in the career of a global sensation. At least that's what people say. And honestly, it will never go out of style because every time you listen, you're gonna be screaming and crying. When you hear this soundtrack, it will all just seem so simple, but we love that she always keeps us guessing. Let me know when you guessed it. I'm redecorating my makeover cake Phoebe, and I want you to try and guess her new look before the end. I've actually mentioned this cakeover theme in one of Phoebe's past makeovers, so I've already dropped some Easter eggs. It's been a long time coming. It's inspired by the most iconic music artist in the world. Some may even say she's the man. This album debuted at #1 on the charts in August of 2019. It's full of dreamy, upbeat glitter pen vibes. I can't contain my excitement. You asked for a friend's cake, so you're getting a friend's cake. Yes, my makeover cake Phoebe was named after Phoebe from Friends. It's my favorite comfort TV show of all time, and Phoebe is obviously one of my favorite characters. But did you know that the name Phoebe actually means bright, pure, and radiant? And that kind of describes how I feel while watching Friends and decorating cakes. Putting these sprinkles all around Phoebe did take a lot of time, but I think it gives it that 90s vibe and captures Phoebe's personality perfectly.
Have you ever wanted to make a hyper-realistic cake at home?
Let's do it. Apparently this hyper-realistic cake kit is going to help me make a cake that actually looks like a bowl of cereal. So I'm gonna see if my husband can tell if it's real or cake. If you've been on the internet at all, then you've probably seen the crazy talent these hyper-realistic cake artists have.
Can you imagine if this was cake? Definitely not cake.
So I hope Johnny Cakes, the creator of this cake kit, made this as easy as possible.
Pretty sure that's not supposed to happen.
But I finally got everything ready to assemble, then sneakily set up the real cereal bowl and the cereal bowl cake.
You have 5 seconds to guess which one's cake.
He got it in 3. This is the end of an era for my makeover cake Phoebe in this kitchen because
we're moving again. Wait, where did everyone go?
There's no way they
left us.
Looks like we're walking then, but I hope we can make it before we both melt in this Texas heat. You guys know Phoebe doesn't get out much, so we've got to have some fun. Hanging out on the playground. I like this slide a lot better. Let's try the seesaw.
Phoebe! Oh no!
I got scared there for a second, but she good. I haven't been swinging in like 10 years. This was so fun. Let's try playing volleyball. And swimming in the pool. Everything was going so well on our journey until...
She's not looking too good. I gotta go.
Then after sprinting for what felt like forever and ever and ever and ever...
I think we made it.
Oh, you could have just rode in the car.
When I was a kid, I was framed by my friend for stealing a pencil.
Let me explain.
My 3rd grade teacher, let's call her Mrs. Potato, was coming around class taking up our spelling test. And out of the blue, my friend, or so I thought, calls her over and says, Mary Allison stole my pencil. Excuse me, I did no such thing. I had my cute Hello Kitty pencils, I did not need her generic number 2 pencil, okay? But Mrs. Potato was not having it. Because at recess, she made us stand next to each other on the fence while everyone else had fun. I guess it's true. You can never have too many friends. Every time I redecorate my makeover cake Phoebe, I love to see if you can guess the theme before the end. This classic series of Disney films was first released in 2002. It follows the journey of a lonely girl in search of a companion and takes place in a town on the Hawaiian island of Kauai. The story is centered around Experiment 626, a mischievous but lovable anti-hero. Originally designed to create chaos and destruction, but instead he learns
Ohana means family.
Let me know if you guessed it. Today I'm challenging my nail tech to a cookie decorating competition. So the other day I was getting my nails done, and as a baker myself, I realized that decorating desserts isn't all that different from nail art. With both, you're creating art with non-traditional materials. But what Lacey doesn't know is that she isn't here just for decorating cookies. You see, recently she had a birthday, and I thought it would be fun to make her a cake inspired by my favorite nail art she's done. But she has no idea I'm about to surprise her with a nail art birthday cake. But I have a surprise for you. What is it? Here's the results of our cookies, but if you want to see the cake, the full video is on my channel.